How to address royalty. If you're lucky enough to meet royalty, or if you're writing a letter to someone of royal ranking, you need to know how to correctly address royalty. You want to make sure you do not offend a member of a royal family. Make sure that you learn the proper title to use given the royal person's ranking. You should also make sure you follow rules for conduct when in the presence of royalty. Method 1. Addressing royalty in person. 1. Give a head bow or a curtsy. When meeting a royal person, it's important you offer a bow or a curtsy. This is considered a formality, especially when meeting a member of the British royal family. If you're male, you should do a neck bow. This simply means bowing by nodding your head. If you're female, do a small curtsy. This means dipping your body downwards slightly by bending your knees. 2. Choose the proper greeting for emperors, kings, and queens. These are among the highest ranking types of royalty, so be sure to address them properly. Emperors, kings, and queens should all be addressed differently. When addressing an emperor, you would address him or her as His or Her Imperial Majesty, Emperor of, name of country. When addressing a king, say, His Majesty, the King. When addressing a queen, say, Her Majesty, the Queen. 3. Call princes and princesses by the proper title. As these are generally the second highest ranking royals, be sure to address them properly. Princes and princesses must be addressed differently. For a prince, say, His Royal Highness, Prince of, name of country. For a princess, say, Her Royal Highness, Princess of, name of country. 4. Select the right term for dukes and duchesses. There are also formal titles required here. When meeting a duke or a duchess, a formal greeting is necessary. For a duke, say, His Grace, the Duke of, name of country. For a duchess, say, Her Grace, the Duchess of, name of country. 5. Make sure you know the proper titles for lower-ranking royalty. There are various other forms of lower-ranking royalty, such as barons, knights, marquises, earls, and countesses. There are proper titles for these people as well that must be used when you address them. Some titles are simple. For example, a knight is simply addressed as Sir followed by his name, and a knight's wife is addressed as Lady, followed by her name. The same is true for baronets and their wives. Royal people that fall between knights and baronets and positions like king and queen are usually addressed as the Right Honourable, followed by their name. A marquis, for examples, would be addressed as the Right Honourable. Method 2. Addressing a letter to royalty. 1. Begin the letter with a proper salutation. If you're writing a letter to royalty, your salutation needs to be slightly more formal than a regular letter. Your salutation should have 2 lines. On the first line, begin with unto and then include the appropriate title of address. For example, if you're writing to the Queen of England, your first line would read, Unto Her Majesty, the Queen of England. The second line should state who you are. A letter to royalty should not withhold the letter writer's name until the signature. If you have any titles, include them here. For example, Lord John Smith of Scotland sends greetings. 2. Address the envelope correctly. How you address the envelope is also important. Addressing the envelope in an improper fashion can show disrespect. You have to use royal titles on the envelope as well. Do not simply write the name of the Queen. Write the title instead. For example, write Her Majesty the Queen on the envelope. 3. Include the proper signature. You want to add some formality when signing your name. A regular signature, where you would use a term like sincerely, is not appropriate when addressing royalty. For high-ranking officials like kings, queens, princes, princesses, and emperors, use something very formal before your signature. Usually, you would write something like, "I have the honor to remain Your Majesty's most humble and obedient servant." For other forms of royalty, "yours faithfully" is usually sufficient. Method 3: Behaving appropriately. 1. Follow rules regarding physical touch. You do not want to offend a king or queen by touching them. You should always wait for royalty to touch you first. Do not attempt a handshake until a person of royal ranking has reached out to you. Avoid touching a person of royal ranking during conversation. 2. Opt for formal attire when meeting royalty. Dress your best if you know you are meeting royalty. Formal wear can be seen as a gesture of respect. Avoid things like sleeveless clothing or casual wear. Dress your best. Bring out your fanciest clothing, and make sure any outfit you choose is clean and free of stains, rips, or holes. 3. Stay somewhat formal in your interactions. You do not want to come off as too informal when meeting royalty. Avoid addressing people of royal ranking by their first name or nickname. You should also avoid laughing or making jokes. Always make eye contact when someone of royal ranking is speaking. You want to make sure you're giving royalty your full attention. Warnings. Learn in advance the kind of protocol when interacting with someone in royalty, and the particular culture that they come from. You do not want to end up offending royalty.